Hello and welcome back to the Spurs Thoughts podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the Burnley game and our Europa League draw. And as usual, everything to do with Tottenham. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Um, so 4-0 Burnley. What are your thoughts?
What a game. He's back.
Big
That's my
Gareth.
5 words to sum up the entire game. That was,
It was a
uh,
great performance from Gareth.
oh yeah, he's back.
Like, it was,
It's actually good to see him back, finally, like fully back.
yeah,
Um, because he's been, you know, rival fans like, oh, he's such a flop. But like, I know it's Burnley, but like, oh
yeah, he destroyed them. He fully sent
yeah,
them to the bin.
if that was against City, he still would have destroyed them. Like all of his, no one would have stopped him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like it was the one thing that I liked is it was very non-reliant on Kane and Son. I think
Yeah,
Kane,
that was good. It means we're not like over reliant on them anymore. I mean, we are now kind of reliant on Gareth Bale, but still,
yeah, but it's better to be reliant on two
it's not
core
exactly a
players.
bad thing. It's not exactly a bad position to be in because, like,
Yeah,
if you're over reliant on like someone lower quality than Bale, you're not doing well. But yeah,
so
Bale was fantastic yesterday.
so my question is then on Thursday against Fulham, do you start Lucas or Deli Ali?
Ooh,
Lucas played well.
um, he did. He got a goal. Um, However, he has played quite a few games in a row, and Dele Alli did have a good game in the Europa League. I know it's against a bunch of farmers, but he still had a good game. Um, yeah, I'd probably play Dele Alli.
Because it's hard to tell someone, you scored, you played well against Burnley, but wait. Um,
It's just a rest. Moore has never been like a nailed on starter at any club he's been at, except for like in Brazil, Sao Paulo, I think he was at. So
yeah.
he's an experienced enough professional to know that he needs a rest. And last season even he suffered from like fatigue and stuff. So you just kind of rest him and keep him fresh.
It's a good point. But yeah, because really Giovanni Lo Celso should be back for the Crystal Palace game, which
Oh, finally. He's been
which
gone
would
for it
be
3 years.
yeah. Let's say okay, what happens if Deli Ali plays a half, Lucas Moura plays a half, um, on Fulham? In Fulham? Would you accept that?
Um, I'd probably play Dele Alli probably about 70 minutes, and then bring Lucas on as almost like an impact sub, which hopefully we don't need. But yeah, it's just it's good to keep the players, like all of them, fresh, and Dele Alli needs a good few minutes because he's been taken off at half time here, taken off, you know 50 minutes in there, So he needs a good chunk of minutes, and if he plays the full 90, that's even better. But I don't know whether we'll be able to because he hasn't played a lot this season.
Oh yeah, no, I doubt he'll be able to play full 90. Um, I think it's very difficult to see a full fit Deli Ali in the next 2 weeks. He has to be probably slowly brought back up to full sharpness as
Yeah,
well.
it's similar to what happened to Gareth Bale. Really, you just build up fitness with like subs appearances, and then eventually you can start and he'll perform well. Because
Yeah.
like I think we're starting to get glimpses of the Dele Alli we saw in sort of 2016, 2017, that sort of time period under Poch. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he's back to his best, and we can actually see the front four of Son, Dele, Bale, and Harry Kane. That will just
I mean, I think it'd become a contest of in each match is who can score more.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
It would become like a competition between themselves.
literally. But yeah, huge shout out to Davinson Sanchez as well. Unreal,
Yeah, where did that come from?
unreal. He let Jay
How did that happen?
Rodriguez
He
and
was genuinely like, I'd rather put a cow at centre back, the last few weeks, and then he just turns up and he's unreal.
it was ridiculous.
Like
Those players,
someone,
those Burnley
someone check
players,
the water, like something in it.
those Burnley players are winning headers week in week out. That's their game plan. And Davinson Sanchez maybe let them win like two in 90 minutes. It was ridiculously good.
Yeah,
Like he was sick. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the table around us, our game in hand is against Fulham and Aston Villa. Sorry, not Fulham. So let's
oh yeah,
say
forgot we had to play Aston Villa. Yeah.
let's say we win that game, we'd be 3 points off top four, which would be some rescue. Like
I mean, the way the top four is going right now, you've our real sort of challengers for that fourth spot. I think sort of the nailed on top four right now is City and United. I was gonna say Leicester. I've said it before. I do like Leicester. I said it on this podcast, but yesterday Harvey Barnes got injured and now he needs surgery. Fofana's injured. They're James Justin's got out for the season. He's probably going to be gone until probably next year, not even next season. Madison spent time out. Tielemans spent time out. They have a lot of like injuries in their squad, and the squad's becoming weaker and weaker by the day. So I don't think they're as nailed on as I think they were. I think that I'm not going to say they'll bottle it because they can't really control the situation that they're in with the injuries, but yeah, they're not as nailed on as they were sort of 3 weeks ago.
yeah, and I mean, we look at Leicester's next fixtures. They just lost to Arsenal. Burnley are in bad form. They're in bad form. Do you think maybe they'll bounce back against Burnley? Then they've Brighton, Sheffield. Um, then they've City. That's gonna be an interesting one. City, West Ham.
Yeah, I mean they did beat them 5-2 at the Etihad, but that's when they actually had a full squad. So
Yeah, and it was a different City to the one we're
and,
seeing
and
now.
yeah, and City were atrocious, and now they're the best team in Europe. So pretty good game.
I think the most defining moments in every season is usually around the end, and Leicester have United, Chelsea, and us at the very end.
Oh Jesus!
And I can
Poor
just
Brendan
see,
Rodgers going to have to pick like 14-year-olds in his team.
I can just see in my head
So I've got no
like
players.
a fourth place fight on the last day, like 23rd of May, with fans, a 14th place fight, a fourth
Oh
place
yeah, the
fight.
fans are going to be back for that game. I forgot about that.
Imagine that. Is that home or is that away? That's Leicester
Oh,
home.
I don't know. Oh, oh, release my inner Gary Neville there. Oh, but oh, that's gonna be exciting actually.
That
With
will be
fans in the
exciting.
stadium, I know it won't be full capacity, but like still.
I'd say there'll only be Leicester fans, I think. Um, but
What in the Spurs stadium?
no, it's in Leicester Stadium. It's in the King Power.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, they beat us 2-0. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm oh, not on the right planet.
I think Jose Mourinho would have learned a lot from that game, tactically, because he
Yeah,
came
I
out
think so.
second
I
half
agree.
with the worst tactics in the world. He came out with the high press in second half. Leicester played a long ball, and Madison was through. Like
Yeah,
he learned a lot from that. But I can definitely see Leicester slipping up, and with everyone else coming in behind them, it's a bit.
yeah, they might start to feel the pressure, um, like they did last season actually. They're second for the majority of the season, and then they finished what, fifth? Yeah, fifth.
Fifth, yeah. West Ham have a very tough run of fixtures, pretty much till the
Yeah,
second,
but West
third
Ham are
last
doing well
games.
right now. They just lost to City, like just about. Not like, I mean, yeah, it was the weekend, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
They played like really well. Especially against the sort of known to be possession dominant Man City side. They created chances and they did well with them. So
yeah. I think they hit the post as well with them a couple times as well.
yeah, they did. Yeah,
But they are fourth. Um, they have got the majority of their bottom half fixtures done, and they are mostly playing top half teams, which I don't think will be good for them.
yeah.
I don't see them coming top six, to be very honest.
Oh wow. I'd say
I mean, Liverpool are 2 points off them;
hmm.
they're sixth. Everton are 5 points with 2 games in hand.
Yeah, but Liverpool have one senior player in their squad, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. They've got no centre backs. You know, they've played two CDMs at centre backs, and they're both out like long term. Well, I think Fabinho's coming back soon, but like their only senior centre back is Kabak, who's 20
That's class.
and is not great. He might be good, but like
I
hasn't
mean,
really proved himself so far.
yeah, I mean he's coming from a Schalke team conceding 50 goals a season. Probably not great for the
Yeah,
confidence.
they're like super glued to the bottom of the Bundesliga. So
It would be like basically Schalke, for everyone who doesn't know, is if Schalke went down to Bundesliga 2, it would be like something like Arsenal going down to Bundesliga 2, or Leeds back in the day. Like it's just a
that's likely.
completely
What?
unprecedented team kind of thing, Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I can definitely see us getting top four, especially with the run of fixtures we have versus the people around us. Like you can see Aston Villa, they are tiring. They aren't able to perform as consistently at the start of the season as they were. Everton are
like
competitors. Yeah, go on.
yeah. Sorry. I was gonna say like our toughest fixture left is Man United, and then it's Leicester, and then the rest of the teams are all in the bottom half of the league. So, well, except for Villa, but like Villa have sort of dropped off recently. So we play. We have to play Sheffield again. We have to play Fulham again, which we're doing soon. We play Newcastle. Um, we've got to play. These sort of I don't want to say lower level teams, but you know, lower level teams. So I think that's what puts us ahead of teams um like Leicester have a tough run of games and West Ham have a very tough run of games. Um, in that race for top four. But then again, we've been like terrible against lower division teams, so you know.
Yeah. Would you say the Tuchel, if we look at Chelsea, would you say the Tuchel bounce? Do you think it's over? Or do you think they still have
Um,
a bit to
the
go?
problem with Tuchel is he's still trying to figure out his best team. Um, he's playing, he's rotating his squad all the time, and he took off Hudson-Odoi at halftime yesterday. He took him off after like half an hour after subbing him on
Oh, that was
um
funny. That was really
against
funny.
against Sheffield, I think. But I mean, he just still doesn't know his strongest team. Um, whether he will know that by the end of the season or not, we don't know. It just depends on how many games Chelsea have left. If they go like the distance in the Champions League, which I don't think is likely, but it's the Champions League, anything can happen.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, I think that probably gives them an analytical edge. Nobody knows how to analyze them too much. They're getting the idea now. It's very possession based. We know exactly
Yeah,
what happens there. They have Liverpool coming up, Everton coming up, Leeds. Not they have a very tough run of fixtures. Chelsea as well.
I mean, you said yourself about the sort of analytical edge, like how some teams won't know what Chelsea are playing. I think Chelsea will know what they're playing.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know his best team. He just kind of, he's obviously new to the league, but he knows the general gist of certain teams. But yeah, he doesn't really know what players are good at what. He knows like the general gist. Oh, Mason Mount's good at this, Mason Mount's good at that, and then that's about it. Because like Mason Mount's just kind of carrying this Chelsea team right now.
That is very true. He is doing exceptionally well in this team. So
Try Mason Mount.
they've Liverpool coming up. What do you think's going to happen there? Two teams
don't
we're
know, actually.
used to dominating. Who do you think's going to dominate?
Well, you see, I was going to say Liverpool, but they can't defend. And then I would say Chelsea, but they can't really defend either. So, because Chelsea just press and don't defend. Like at times Tuchel's play like two at the back. So, I'd say it's tough to tell, because at the start of the season, obviously Liverpool, sorry, they won 2-0, but that was Kepa, and they had a full team with no sort of injuries. So yeah, it's tough to say, to be honest. So
Yeah,
I'll probably say draw.
I think in my head I can think all I can think of is Chelsea dominating purely based on the fact that they just do so much of it. They always have the ball. They're always passing, and Liverpool centre backs who a lot of the game revolves around their passing ability. It's not going to be as good as Virgil van Dijk's or the
I
others.
think that's why they're not really creating as much an attack, because usually with the full Liverpool team, Trent Alexander-Arnold has the sort of right to go forward because he knows that he's got Van Dijk beside him, and Van Dijk is just so happy to just sort of cover Trent and let Trent sort of bomb forward and not really come back every single time. Now then Van Dijk got injured, but it was a little bit more risky, but they still had Joe Gomez. Then Joe Gomez got injured, and I was like, okay, well, at least we have Fabinho and Matip. Then they both got injured, so I was like, oh god, we've got to play Jordan Henderson at centre back. Then he got injured, so he's not really receiving any of that sort of cover because the players that Liverpool are playing at centre back don't really know how to cover him as well as someone like Van Dijk would. So I think that's why Liverpool are conceding more goals because Trent isn't running back, but they're not creating as much because Trent isn't running forward. So yeah,
Yeah,
they're in a bit of a pickle, Liverpool.
I think Ozan Kabak doesn't have the pace that Virgil van Dijk does, which also is a big
Oh, definitely not.
factor, especially when playing against someone like Timo Werner. And Tuchel will know this, and he will play Timo Werner. Like that's a given
Yeah.
now because of how Liverpool are going to set up. I think they'll play defensively. I think Liverpool will. I think Klopp will think about going defensive, and purely because of the fact that a lot of the time they will have to. Um, but because of the press, they might just play, I don't know, a long ball or it's kind of tough to say as well. Like if Liverpool
Yeah.
try and play high, I think it will be an extremely high scoring game. And if Liverpool play low, it's gonna be long balls for days. I don't know. It's tough to say what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it is because we don't really know what Klopp will think about it.
Obviously for us, a draw would be perfect.
Oh yeah, it'd be a great result.
A draw would allow us to, if we were to win both our match on against Fulham and then our game in hand, if we get 2 goals, then we would go fifth.
Perfect. Well, not really perfect, but you know what I mean. It's better than 9th the other day, or 10th actually. We were the other day for about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Then Gareth Bale scored 68 seconds in, and then we're like,
What a guy.
right. Yeah. If we move on to then the Europa League, we got Dynamo Zagreb in our fixture, and obviously much better than getting someone like United or AC Milan
Yeah.
or, you know, Roma or anything. What do you think of that, fixture?
Well, it's obviously sort of easier than the ones you've just said there, but I don't want to say it's easy because I've never seen them play. Well, I have, but that was like about 10 years ago. And B, I don't really want to jinx it because if I say, oh yeah, we're going to win like 5-0 and then we lose like 2-0, I'll have egg on my face. So yeah,
Yeah.
I to be honest, I have no idea how they play, what they do. I know one player because I signed him on career mode because he's 18 and he's a left-footed centre back, and that's Guardiola, but I don't think he even plays. So yeah,
I mean,
no idea.
they play in the Croatian league, and they're first in the Croatian league.
Oh
I
wow,
mean,
what achievement!
it's not a great achievement, obviously, because of the level of the Croatian league. But they'll come in with confidence, and that's what we're going to need to do. But it's definitely a tie we can win. It's definitely a tie we should win.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And I mean, looking at the other teams around, you have Man U playing Milan, very big.
That's a great game for us.
Roma playing Shakhtar.
Probably the two hardest teams left in the tournament, just playing against each
Yeah.
other.
And obviously, Man United have they have just before playing Milan, they will play City. So
Oh,
confidence is gonna be a
oh,
big factor in that. Obviously, AC Milan are first in this or second in the Serie A, but playing City, getting destroyed like 3-4-0, you know
although United do
that's
have a good record against City, but then again, this is a different City.
it is a different City, and I think it is a different United in a sense that yeah, they're more resilient to smaller teams, but they just can't do anything against a big team.
Yeah,
And I guess that's why I think they're playing City, Milan, West Ham, and then Milan. So
Jesus.
I think Milan do have
Bruno, stretch your legs, please.
yeah.
We need you.
It's going to be interesting. I think confidence obviously plays a big part in sport. But
Especially nowadays, yeah. Everything's built on confidence.
yeah, and it was really obvious to see against the Chelsea game. Bruno Fernandes was like pissed. He was just angry. Like
Oh, yeah.
he's just pissed at them because like they couldn't pass the ball to him. He was he was just stuck there getting the ball, passing it backwards because he had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
That obviously has a big effect, and if that kind of run of
That's why a player like Cavani is kind of key for United because he's so experienced in sort of moving for that creator. Obviously, he did a PSG with players like Di Maria and Neymar, Mbappe, etc. However, you can't really rely on Cavani, should I say, to play week in week out because he's what 33, 34. So he's gonna at most have to be rotated because he just physically can't play every game,
yeah,
and that's something that Martial can't do. He sort of expects the ball to be put on a plate for him when he runs instead of moving like a false nine in a way. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Obviously, Cavani's injured now, so
it,
that's unfortunate for Man United. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he wasn't on the
yeah.
bench yesterday, so
See, Cavani is 34 years old, but the difference between him and someone like Jamie Vardy is Jamie Vardy's been doing it since he's 28. Cavani's been doing it since like a very young, a much younger age.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So yeah, I think we'll leave it at that then for this podcast. We hope you liked it. If you did, like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you next time.